From his groundbreaking debut Pi to his Oscar-winning movies Black Swan and The Whale, Darren Aronofsky's bold storytelling and striking visual style pushed the boundaries of film, leaving audiences captivated and shaken. As the Cinémathèque française in Paris celebrates his work and Requiem for a Dream marks its 25th anniversary with a restored release, I sat down with the director to talk about his singular ability to transform human obsession into visceral cinema.
Purple in the morning, blue in the afternoon, orange in the evening. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I like your choice of colour today.
You too.
Darren Aronofsky, hello.
Hello.
Requiem for a Dream turns 25 this year. There are scenes in that film that have always haunted me. I wonder, when you look back, what do you think?
I mean, I haven't seen it in 23 years, so I guess I have a lot of memories about it, but no, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know. And I don't think I'm going to watch it again. I'm not sure.
Why not?
I think I had a teacher that said, you know, watching your old films is like masturbation.
Right.
I could say that on French TV now. Because I think it just, you get stuck in your own head. It's not helping. So I think it's important to move forward and keep thinking forward. It was I made it a very long time ago, and I'm not sure what I get out of watching it at this point.
Hey, Ma, you want uppers?
You don't know. I'm going to be on television.
Gotta win.
I'm somebody now, Harry. Everybody likes me. It's a reason to smile.
Darren Aronofsky's unflinching portraits of addiction and self-destruction have earned him both fierce controversy and critical acclaim. Addiction, though, is a theme that you tackled again in The Whale, for example. Charlie's addiction is eating.
Yeah.
What appeals to you about that subject?
I don't know if I'm conscious about it. I think it's just, I know when I can remember reading Hubert Selby Jr.'s book, Requiem for a Dream, and being moved by how much he was able to visualize addiction. He would just break it down so slowly and really capture what was happening in your mind when you were battling with something you knew was bad to do to yourself. And so it just created pictures in my head, and I knew that there would be really interesting ways to kind of capture that internal struggle. When I saw The Whale as a theater show many, many years later, I guess it was 15 years later, after I made Requiem, just the character resonated with me. I wasn't really interested in the addiction struggles with food, although I think everyone has a strange relationship to food, and somehow I just was heartbroken by that character and wanted to tell his story.
Why'd you gain all that weight?
Someone close to me passed away, and it had an effect on me.
You haven't seen her since she was 8 years old, and you're gonna reconnect with her?
Sorry.
I don't like this. This isn't a good idea.
The performances by your actors in Requiem for a Dream are legendary, but apparently none of them were actually your first choice. Most people who you asked refused to be in the film, didn't they? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, there were many actors before I arrived at the cast, but it all worked out perfectly. I think a lot of actors were afraid of it because of how dark it was. I was an unknown quantity at the time. Ellen Burstyn tells a funny story about reading the script and being kind of angry because she was like, they want me to do this and for no money. But I think the more it sat with her, and then she did watch my first film, and that gave her the courage to take the leap forward.
Harold, please, not again, the TV.
Ma, come on, Ma. Why do you have to make such a big deal out of this, Ma? You know you'll get the set back in a couple of hours. Why you gotta make me feel so guilty, Ma?
But yeah, there were many actors. Probably best not to talk about that because it's gossip. But I still bump into them every once in a while, and I still tease them.
Anything else?
Tell us a bit about the preparation the actors went through for the film? Because it was intense, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, back then I was also less experienced, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had this feeling that the more time we spent doing rehearsals, the better it would be. So we spent a bunch of time together getting to know each other.
Is it true that Jared Leto actually lived on the streets for a while?
I'm not sure. I mean,
Right,
definitely, I've heard, I don't even know if I heard that story. I mean, I do remember he would take a needle and fill it with water and shoot himself up with it. And I was like, why are you doing that? There's no needles. It was very important to me when I was making the movie not to really get into the whole fetishizing of drugs. I find like when a lot of drug movies, the thing I find least interesting is the moment all the paraphernalia comes out and you see the spoons and the heat and I wasn't really interested in that. And coming up with that kind of hip hop montage editing, which was something I had developed in Pi and in my earlier work, was a really good solution to get around it. So I was always like, Jared, you don't need to do that. But, you know, I think he felt he needed to do it for his method.
Jesus, what are you trying to do? You trying to get me to break my own mother's set? Or break the radiator? And maybe blow up the whole house, Ma? Is that what you're trying to do? Your own son, your own flesh and blood, Ma. Is that what you're trying to do? Your own son?
The film was rated at the time 17 and over in the US, mainly because of that final.
I think it was 16 in France, if I remember right, which I was like, oh, now there's a country that's grown up with sophisticated values and morals. Because it seems so strange to me to make it hard to watch for young people. I've had more young people tell me that movie kept them off drugs or saved their lives, which is, I think, a big reason why Hubert Selby Jr. wrote it at the beginning, was to just show how ubiquitous addiction is, and it could come in so many different forms. And I think it kind of dispelled the myth that drug users were different than the rest of us.
Wasn't it mainly, though, the last scene in the film, that sex show scene is very intense? And did you ever consider taking that out?
No, I don't think so. I think the purpose of the book and the purpose of the movie is how far down you are forced to go to feed your addiction. So to sort of in any way edit that back was a mistake. It was kind of undermining the whole purpose of it, because Hubert Selby Jr. created this story to like just show the pain that people go through and inflict on themselves, and to sort of like make the pain not quite as bad or not quite as humiliating or not quite as dehumanizing is the exact opposite of the purpose of making the film. So no, I was never going to cut any of it.
Getting the money is not the problem, Harry. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to get it.
Requiem for a Dream is one of your films that's showing at the Paris retrospective. All of your films are showing. You've said in the past that The Wrestler and Black Swan are companion pieces. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, they both have very connecting themes. They're both about artists. One happens to be high art with ballet, and one happens to be low art with wrestling. But they're actually very similar. They're both athletes that use their bodies for their art, and as their bodies fail, it challenges them as artists.
What can you tell us about your next film, Caught Stealing?
My new movie is called Caught Stealing. It comes out at the end of August, I think August 29th, here in Paris and all over the world. It stars Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz and Regina King and Vincent D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber and Bad Bunny, to name a few. And it's a really fun crime caper. It's meant to be just a big blast and a lot of fun. It's set in the 90s in the Lower East Side of New York City, and it's a love letter to New York.
Darren Aronofsky, thank you so much.
Nice to see you again.
Thanks
for all your help.
Nice to see you again.